We continue with the same thing. When we look at what we said last time, when Jeremiah came and talked to the people, he told them about what they knew and left what they knew for what's no good, and cried out for the people to get back to the way. And someone has to stand in the way to show them the way. You have to have your trumpets. Sometimes when we say trumpets, your mouth can be that trumpet to tell people where they at, what they do, and how we have to prepare the way. So we have seen that the world, since its inception, always in trouble. This world that we live in, this planet. In fact, my wife has a friend of hers at work. Whenever that we're praying for the world, she never requires for Jesus to come because she said the world is okay like this. So what we're saying when it comes, we're going from bad to worse. And that ain't supposed to be anything new to us, because all of this were prophesied, and we about to get into the nitty-gritty of it so we can see what the Bible has predicted. We will live it, some of us. I say some of us because we don't know if tomorrow some of us will still be alive, but some of us will live it until the end, until Jesus Christ. I don't know, but some of us will see a lot of it. The issue through generations, Moses took time before he died to remind the Israelites what they need to do so they can stay in accord with God. Joshua that came after did the same. This is what we need to do in order to have the favor of God on us. So each prophet in a certain way had come to tell the people a message some of them forgot about and need to be reminded. When Jeremiah came, the two tribes, the two kingdoms were in existence. And he was talking to them in a certain way that they need not to go to Baal Peor, but to look unto God himself. We understand the message of Jeremiah that have to stand between God and the people. But instead of having to listen to God, the people now became the worst enemy of Jeremiah. Which is also sometimes the same thing that we do as Christians. We do badly instead of accepting that we are wrong, but now we find ourselves so proud of what we did, and we don't have the heart to confess what we did is wrong. So God brought judgment on the tribe, on the two kingdoms. The kingdom faced judgment. The Assyrian come in 722 before Christ, and the north kingdom fell. And in 597, 605, the one from the south was annihilated. Then deportation take place. When we understand what's going on, the time that the tribe, the kingdom lived, it seemed like we as a Christian is seeing part of it. I said part of it because we're looking at the earth, the planet. We have a group that called G7, and we have another group that called G20. They divide themselves into the most industrialized countries, but not to bring people to God, but to have a way to move the agenda the way that they want it. God called us to the ancient pathway. So Jeremiah speaks in the mind of travelers and in the mind of the people, so they can make a U-turn to go back to God. And the U-turn is nothing else, as he said, we need to stay in the old pathway. The old pathway. When we walk with God, there will be time that we will stumble. All of us have. No, tout qui là, on sait que mon dans la vie, non, non, côté non rivé, non tomber, non faire faillite. Mais là où on tomber, ou lever, ou dire, je ne vais pas carrer là-dedans parce que ça me vive dans mon Dieu déjà, je préfère compter bien faire mon Dieu. When we look at what happened, that we must walk with God. The walking with him is not easy, but he was the one that tell us that we have to stay in the old pathway. And if you want us to stay in the old pathway, he will also provide the strength to be there. Make us strong as we walk. The book of Philippians chapter 3, verse 16. Philippians chapter 3, verse 16. Paul has to remind the people of Philippi about where they're at and what they need to do as far as the pathway is concerned. And in the conversation with them, he called on them to count them as far as apprehended and have come together to not to forget their way, which they know, leave everything behind, but keep God in mind. And the verse 16 that we're reading right now tell us, nevertheless, wherefore to have already attained, let us walk by the same rule, let us have the same mind, the same thing. When we look around us as far as organization concerned, we understand this era that we're living is not any kind of era. Not long ago, a couple of years ago, we have the United Nations brought out remember what they brought out? From out of the door? That animal that have the different parts of us, lion, eagle, and all this stuff, right in front of the, and then what happened after that? They pull it in. The book of Revelation tell us there will be an authoritarian government that will be established. And it's not too long to see it. Why am I referring to it? In this era that we're living, people refer to that era as if it is a past era. There is no need for it. Even the Pope, in April 15, 2018, during what they call Easter, Pope Francis came out and surprised the world by announcing that the Bible is too old. We cannot serve with that Bible anymore. Imagine someone that is a leader, a religious leader. Do you believe that Pope Francis is a leader? I believe he is. Not for God, but for the masonry. Yes, he's a leader that leading people astray. Worse yet, you have some Seventh-day Adventists that are following him. So when we look at this message that was given by Jeremiah to the people of old, this message should resonate with us, because what we're saying, a lot of people are leaving the old pathway for a new pathway. The Mexican adage always say, do not let the way that you know for the new one. The way that you know is correct, stay in it. Pope Francis come in a ray across, trying to capture the youth. Not long ago, after that he has done that, he came again in 2023. They are in between. But in 2023, December 18, 2023, he came out in great formal approval that a man and man can be blessed in marriage. Woman and woman can be blessed when God says no. Can we believe that Pope Francis is a spiritual leader? No, it is not. I hope that he's listening right now so he can repent of what he said. If you have Pope Francis leading the world, then the world is in for a rocky ride. If you have Pope Francis, though that we can include it as part of South America because he was born in Argentina, but their agenda is not of God. The declaration published Monday in a new title, Fiducia Supplicans, on the pastoral meaning of blessing, marked a major departure by the Vatican, which only 2 years ago had said God cannot bless sin. That's what he said in 2021, and then 2 years after, he blessed sin. I want you to understand the psychology of the Vatican. Before they inject you with the poison, they give you the sweetener first. And as the sweetener linger around, while you're still on it, then they punch you with the poison. They inject you with the poison. In the Semi-Adventists, we're talking about the truth, nothing but the truth. And whenever that the truth come about, some people, some feather will be ruffled, which is a good thing. If you do not like to hear the true gospel, your place is not into the true Seventh-day Adventist church. Because whenever that you come, you will ruffle our father. You will ruffle Pope Francis. You will ruffle JC. You will ruffle the conferences. Even elders and members in the church will be ruffled. There are a lot of churches out there that preach the gospel. That's what they call it, but they're not preaching the true gospel. When Jesus came, he went into the synagogue and heard what the Pharisees, even those that were the Levite, were doing. He was ashamed for them to be in that synagogue. He confronted them. When being confronted to the truth, darkness cannot stay. There are two things that you can do. You either fight back with a group of fanatics and lost, or you will go to hiding. So Jesus came, pointed out the sin of the world. Pope Francis came to multiply the sin of the world. Sin do not take you in heaven, but it takes you to the Vatican. What am I saying? Young people, I understand you at school, you're being indoctrinated left and right. And you don't do your research either. Or when church tells you, because church is so strong, the way that they come across, you do not like what the church is saying. You rather bathe yourself in what the school is giving you. Berean church, according to many that have dreams, and God showed them and said, this is a true church. I've listened to those dreams. I have not had to hear from them to know that I am in the right church. But I'm glad God can confirm it. We have here around town a church that calls Seventh-day Adventist. It won't be long before you see a set in that church. Mark my word. It will not be long before those churches that call Seventh-day Adventists, they will have a set in there. Mark my word. That day will come. And then when that day comes, they will flood this church because there is no way in Berean that we will accept anything that is not biblical. If it is not from this book, keep it to yourself. To the truth and to the testimony. That's how the word portrays what we need to do. The truth and the testimony. The gospel that we have is not invented by Berean, but it is a gospel that is the old-time religion that shows us a pathway that is old, but keep us in the new. How does it keep us in the new? Because we have known the old pathway. Before we check anything else of the world, we must cross-check it with the Bible. Because we check it with the Bible, we know that's what lead them in the old, and the same hand that lead in the old still leading in the new. God is good. So, stand in the way is something that is each one of us must do. When pastors are not in their way, herald the trumpet. When elders are not in their way, herald the trumpet. When members are not in their way, herald the trumpet. When youth are not in the way, herald the trumpet. When church are not on the way, herald the trumpet. And when you hear the trumpet, if you do not get the word in and live it in, you will be perishing by the word. So Pope Francis, I hope that those that are monitor our movement, talking to the gospel, that you'll listen to me talking to you to get your life together, because death will come for you soon. I don't know how to kill people, but I remember a time when the people of old were in Egypt. God said, this is what I want you to do. Mark the posts of the door. The angel of death is coming. Meaning, if you're not with God, you don't have that mark. If you're not with God, you're not living by the word, you will be passed through death. I'm not saying that you deserve to die. This is not what I'm saying. But God wants you to repent, and repent right now. When we look of how things done, Isaiah 8 verse 20 put it this way. And I'm going to read it. I mentioned it earlier, but this time I'm going to read it to you. To the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. Let me say it again, because I want, if you have the Pope Francis number or the White House number, send them that verse on a postcard. To the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is what? No light. Why would two men who naturally supposed to know that what they do is unnatural wanted to have a blessing of God, when God himself, the only blessing he provided to Sodom and Gomorrah was brimstone? So go back and analyze what happened in the time of old, so you can understand the scenery, the picture that God does not play with sin. The providence of God in time past, God shows our fathers his providence about how to go about his manner and regarding the punishment that we have sometimes. The book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 verse 3 and 4 put it this way. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all men that follow Baal Peor, the Lord thy God had destroyed them from among you. But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your God are alive, because every one of you God saved this day. God wants us to be holy. That's the mark. You want to see God? Be holy. The word holy, be one. That's what it means. Be one. Be like God. Be one. The book of Leviticus 20 verse 7, sanctify yourself therefore and be ye holy, for I am holy. I am your Lord and I'm holy. Another word, in the age where we at, if I give birth to a son or daughter, I can find out if this son belonged to me. In the hospital, any one of you, you give birth to a son, to a daughter, they will ask you the question in the hospital, do you want us to do a DNA test? The DNA test will print out the father, not mainly the mother, sometime when they are exchanged. To confirm that was the one, they will have the DNA for the mom, but usually for the father. What Jesus is saying, that I'm holy, it meaning that if you're looking in the mirror and you look nothing like me, you don't have the same DNA as I am. So Jesus is not looking only to have someone that look like him, but to be like him. David in Psalm 22, 30 and 31 put it this way: a seed shall serve him. It shall be accounted to the Lord for a generation. They shall come and shall declare his righteousness unto a people that shall be born, that he had done this. Last time I was having a conversation with Sister Finette, and I was preaching in some place, and we say that, my wife usually would say that to me, we do not need, we need a good deliverance, but not son or daughter that look like his father. Nous pas besoin d'un petit qui semble à papa, mais ça nous besoin c'est un bon délivrance, heureux accouchement. It is only Jesus, not only that he wants us to look like him, but to have the DNA. That proof that you're serving the Lord. So what Pope Francis has done is to steer the world, some of the world, on his side, but it backfire in a certain way. Because you have people within inside the church that leave the church because of this. You find those that are named priests. They are not priests because the Bible says do not call them priests. No, father, they're not. They are sinners like us. If they cannot practice what God gave them to be in that sacerdoce, then they cannot be called priests. What am I saying? Matthew 24:12, Jesus put it this way for us. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Let me say it again. Because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Is that what happened to the Vatican? Is that what happened to some Seventh-day Adventists? Is that what's going on with some conferences? Is that what's going on with some preachers? Is that what's going on with trying to sweeten the gospel so we can keep the members to have more tithes? This is not church. The church is you. The pastor, whoever that is, must preach the gospel with a no hold barred. Whether he does good or not, you have to listen to it. I have to listen to it. You understand? In the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse 8, Jesus put it this way: I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on earth? When the Son of Man cometh, will there be faith on earth? There will. I believe there will. The reason why I say there will, God says those that are with me, I will do what? I will be with them. What is holiness? When God started to forge a relationship with the Israelites, he told them Moses will instruct them about holiness. And Moses in the book of Leviticus put it this way in Leviticus 19 verse 2. He said, speak unto the congregation of the children of Israel and say unto them, ye shall be holy. For I am the Lord your God, am holy. Holiness is the key. What is the explanation? God does not desire of people to be in relationship with him because he is omnipotent. God does not desire that you did him because of he is God, creator. He wants a people to experience his nourishment in relationship. Just like any relationship, there are rules to follow. Moses stayed in the experience and nourished by it. The people needed to know the ground rule has to come the same way and be nourished by it. When Moses went to the mountain to receive the 10 Commandments, his brother who know about God, because God had called him to do certain things, he took the people to where? Back to Baal Peor. So it may happen that while you're in church, the person that you think that is leading you to God is the one that is leading you astray. Alas. In the Bible, you find the word Strong Concordance number 6918 about holiness, kadosh, meaning sacred, holy, consecrated, holy one. The book of Exodus 19 verse 6, before Moses received the 10 Commandments, God put it this way, and ye shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and an holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children of Israel. Let me read it again. And ye shall be unto me a kingdom of what? Of priests and holy nation. These are the words which thou shalt speak unto the children. In other words, those that claim to be priests, those that claim to be father, if they not practicing what God give them, holiness, they not a priest. They just stole a title. Exodus 29:31. And thou shalt take the ram of the consecration and sift his flesh in where? The holy place. That was commandment given to the Levi. Certain thing that they have to do. They can eat it inside the holy place. This is commandment of God. Leviticus 6:26. The priest that offereth it for sin shall eat it. In the holy place shall it be eaten, in the court of the tabernacle of the congregation. You come to do a duty. You have a duty toward the people to bring the people to God, but you're the mediator at that part. While you are the mediator, you're carrying the son. Whatever that they bring, certain time in the law, God wants them to eat of it. In other words, you eat their sin, you carry it with you, and me, I'll deal with you for them. Through you, they will find forgiveness. Announcing what Jesus will come to do for the world. Announcing what will happen for humanity. Leviticus 11:44. For I am the Lord your God, ye shall therefore sanctify yourself, and ye shall be holy. For I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourself with any manner of creeping things or creepeth upon the earth. What can be holy? People can be holy. A place can be holy. Time can be holy. Space can be holy. Object can be holy. Where we assemble here, the sanctuary, since it is created on the name of God, it's supposed to be a holy place. When we have a holy place, you find holy people gathered in it. What will come out of it must be holy. The New Testament used the word hagiazo, Hagiazo. Hagiazo. It means to make holy. And the phrase hagio, holy or sacred, Jesus is called the Holy One. The Holy One of God. And those who claim Jesus as Lord are called Hagioi, Hagiaho. God used the word for himself to make holy, Hagio. And those that follow him have an I at the end of the word. What does that mean? You are called saint. That's the word. Saint. S-A-I-N-T-S. You are sent. That's what do the Catholic people do? They have St. Peter. They have St. Matthew. They have St. Nicholas. They have St. Pope Benedict. They have all those saints. In Haiti, when we have all those saints, we call them Saint-René. Talo up to second cob, second good. They have sent here, sent there, sent here, sent there. All this sent mean nothing, because sent, the book of Psalms say, they have eyes they can't see. They have arms they can't feel. They have feet they can't walk. They have brain they can't do nothing. In fact, what they call the Madonna in the Catholic Church, you know what it is? They call it a Saint Madonna. Who that really is? This is what the Haitian people worship as Erzulie Freda. So if those saints cannot talk, and sometimes they show certain image of them that they make movement. How do they do that? Because there is a spirit that is not holy that make this happen. And this is the spirit that the Holy One wants us not to mingle with. The Vatican has the word the Holy See. Is the Vatican holy? I do not think so, because if I have to cross-check the Bible and compare to what they say and do, they are completely in different pathway. And God wants us to stay where? In the old pathway. The new pathway that they have, it takes us back to Egypt. Among the churches that I know, only a few has the obelisk in front of it. And the Vatican is one of them. The obelisk is what they use for God Ra in Egypt, God of fertility. So it is plain in our eyes, and some people still worship in this church. I believe it was 2019, there was a secretary from GC who stated, next time I'll bring you the video, and said the Seventh-day Adventist Church is a Catholic church. You never heard that? Oh yeah. The Seventh-day Adventist Church is what? Is a Catholic church. I said, yes, it is. That is the reason why some pastor cannot preach from the book of Daniel or in the book of Revelations. Because they bar them to preach the truth out of there. They can control their mouths because they have a job. Because once you have vocation, you speak what God tells you to speak. With no fear, be bold, even though your life is in danger. I said it to my wife many times. I will come preach and I may not get back home. It's okay. As long as it is for God's, I'm good. I'm good. As long as it is God, the work that I was doing is God's work. If I got killed by government or Vatican, so be it, God allowed it. But the truth must go out. A lot of people may not like this church because they say there are not many people in there. But I'm so happy that God can use us. I'm so happy that we can still be in existence because of God. Even though the turmoil came, but the church still stands. God is great. When we look at these people, they are wolves in lamb clothes. I'm talking to you, Pope Francis, and all the priests with you. They are just what? Wolves in lamb clothes. And this is the kind of sermon that you cannot preach on any pulpit of the Seventh-day Adventists. because he will ruffle some feathers. Every time I remember the last sermon that I preached in my church about Mason, they hate me to death because a lot of the elders were Mason. A lot of the elders, some of the elders that we have in our churches, they are Mason. Last Sabbath, I went to preach in a church, a Hispanic church, my wife and I. And when we got there, we were talking. I said to the church, remember, God gave the church a lot of power. I have, you have, all of us, we have more power than Satan. They say, how? If I call on God and I'm in a good relationship with him, he will answer. But Satan cannot call on him and find an answer. If I am with God, attached to him, to his work, you possessed with a demon, by God's grace, I call, the demon must flee. The church has a lot of power. The Pope has none. Because they're not worshiping God. They worship who? Demon. Satan. And because they associate themselves with Satan, they are also satanic themselves. Church, it's not for any reason God called us to do what? To separate ourselves from them. Sometimes the separation will also come into the church. Where this group want the sweet gospel, and the other one the gospel of this book. There is a separation, even within the church. I do not want to name the church here, but I've heard a lot of things about them. But that's where people go, because you don't touch their wound. They can close themselves anyhow to go to church because they pay tithe. They can be in a position, they pay tithe. They can do anything they want, put it on the table. This is not the way church operates, because with the gospel that is the light, everything must be up into the light. Church, I say to you, keep the old pathway. Even though that you may find more in the new pathway, God never give us a new pathway. Why is that? Since he declared this word, he declared them to be what? Eternal. There won't be no new. The only new thing that you will have when God comes is a new earth, a new body. But the word will stay the same. So if Pope Francis says that you can bless, maybe they can use the book of Mason to bless people in their way. But if you want the blessing of God, you must contact God in order to get the blessing. May God bless you. May God keep you. Stay strong.